Hello, everyone, and welcome to Channeling Changes, the Power of Positivity. Today is Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. I'm your host, Denton Ramsey. Forgive me in advance, guys, if there's any background noises. I'm recording in my apartment, and there's some kids downstairs being really loud. But wanted to welcome you guys to the show. For those of you that are new, again, this is called Channeling Changes. There's a website out there at channelingchanges.wordpress.com where you can find more information about the whole idea of this mental change or mental attitude that I'm calling Channeling Changes. You can also find us on Twitter at Channel Changes. You can also find us on Facebook. In addition, but there's also now an Instagram page for Channeling Changes. And if you guys have any questions or comments or story ideas or things you want me to discuss, feel free to email me, channelingchanges@gmail.com. That's CHANNELING changes@gmail.com. All right, guys, well, welcome to the show. This is the pilot episode, and today I'm going to read you guys the column that I wrote at the beginning of 2016 when I first embraced this idea of channeling changes. And in future episodes, what I'm probably going to be doing is reading a quote or two, maybe even up to 3 quotes on positive attitudes and emotional encouragement, things like that. And we'll break it down and just talk about how we can begin changing our lives to open up our minds and really change the way that not only that we view our own lives, but the way that we see our future as well. So basically, again, the idea of channeling changes is positive practices to change the way that we think, act, react, and interact. So now that I've got the basic information out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and read you guys this column. Again, the show started off today. The intro song for the podcast was an acoustic cover of Magic that I performed probably about, 3 or 4 months ago. And the show today is going to end with an original song called Wanna Know How that I wrote. And that song actually recently hit streaming music sites from iTunes to Amazon to Spotify. If you guys want to check it out, again, just check out Denton Ramsey, Wanna Know How. So jumping right into this, I'm going to try not to fall down many rabbit holes. This podcast is going to be 10 minutes or less every episode, and show notes and more should be available on the blog site at channelingchanges.wordpress.com, and I will work to get those up as quickly as possible. So again, here's the column. Without further ado, here we go. It's called Channeling Changes. I've personally been going through some epic emotional and mental changes in my life lately, especially in terms of differentiating the desire of wants from the necessity of needs, finding silver linings in each and every situation, regardless of how chaotic and heart-wrenching the initial encounter may feel at the onset, while mindfully maintaining a consistently calm and openly optimistic outlook during life's weary waves of pains and pitfalls. It's all about tweaking our thoughts towards persistently positive mental messages, ultimately leading to realistic yet radical results. I honestly strive to be an inspiring influence to each and every individual I meet or converse with on any given day of my life, and I've also learned to truly forgive both myself and others, emphatically embracing an anger-free attitude and lifestyle. Our daily walk on this earth encounters enough raging resentment as is, and it's anger that could easily be erased through positive practices of changing the way that we think, act, and interact. I'm ready to collectively channel changes of our thoughts and minds. Anyone else ready to swan dive into this mental movement and boldly board the train? Again, guys, that is a column I wrote at the beginning of 2016. I had no idea what obviously the year would entail, and it's been filled with ups and downs as everyone's lives normally are. And I try to explain to people and tell people all the time, you never know what someone's going through, and that's why I try to again have utmost respect for everyone. And I think our main purpose here on this earth is to be there for one another. Again, there's enough resentment and discouragement around us as is. I think we need to be encouraging factors to one another, and we need to look at the big picture and realize that we don't know what everyone else is going through. You know, everyone focuses a lot of times on themselves, and it's very easy to do, but you know, we all have pains, we all have sorrows, we all have things that we go through, And the best way to handle these situations is to change the way that we think. It's a lot easier said than done, but I tell friends of mine and acquaintances and coworkers and artists that I've collaborated with and fellow journalists all the time. I just tell them that you've got to stay positive. That's one thing I've always embraced, is a positive attitude. I've been told I'm overly optimistic, but it's something that I, again, fully embrace, because I know that in my life that staying positive has led to positive results. So that's the biggest factor, guys, and it does take a lot of self-examination. You've got to be brutally honest about some of the decisions you've made in your life. I also try not to use the word mistakes, because I think that if you learn something, I call them learning experiences. As long as you learn something from these quote-unquote mistakes, then it's really not a mistake. You've grown from it. So again, try to focus on things like that, guys, and again, letting go of all anger and resentment is a very tough one that I talk to with friends that say they have a hard time doing it. And it is very difficult to do, guys. It took me until I was in my 30s to fully understand the concept of truly letting go of all anger and resentment. But it's something that has changed my life, and it's opened my eyes in a way that it's hard to even explain. And I'm a writer, and it's hard for me to put words into place to describe the feelings that I've gone through since embracing this idea of channeling changes. So I'm going to wrap things up, guys. I want to keep this show in under 10 minutes or less. So future podcast episodes, we will be reading quotes and talking more about this positive attitude and more about channeling changes. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. Feel free to email me again, channelingchanges@gmail.com. Look forward to talking to you guys again really, really soon. And check out the website, Facebook page, all the other social media sites where we are. Also, you can find the official podcast on line at channelingchanges.madewithopinion.com. Also, the show should be on iTunes soon as well. So thanks for joining me, guys. We'll talk soon. Here's Want to Know How. Later, guys. Peace. Love y'all.
Searching through life, don't know where to begin. Just asking for help from my God and my friends. My world's changing now, but I'll take on the change. Oh yeah, life's a trip, here come crashing waves.